Today I will discuss pouring fast versus slow, high versus low, and circle versus center. I want to preface this by saying that the following results are very unscientific and more thought than fact. So please write in the comments if you have had experiences that differed from mine. First, pouring fast versus slow, as in how much water that comes out of your kettle per second. In my testing, when I'm pouring fast, I'm pouring 13 grams per second, and with the slow pour, it's around 4 grams per second. My results have consistently been that the faster pouring equals more extraction and flavour. Too fast makes the coffee very astringent, and too slow results in lack of flavour. It really depends on how fresh your coffee is and or how darkly it is roasted. If it is very fresh, lots of agitation is probably not a good idea. But if it's getting a little older and not so flavour intense, more agitation can do wonders. With darker roasts, you generally want to pour slower in my experience, as it is much easier to extract. If you poured faster, you will quickly get some unwanted and sometimes astringent flavours. Coffees that are of higher quality can also cope with more agitation and extraction than lower quality coffees. Finally, with recipes that call for a coarser grind, I generally like to pour faster to extract more. If the recipe has a finer grind, a slow pour is generally preferred, as the coffee will quickly become astringent and unbalanced if you pour too quickly. Now to pouring high versus low, which is a rather complex and difficult topic. The stream coming from your kettle will become rougher and break up the higher you pour. Very simply put, rougher streams cause more turbulence. Pouring from higher up should also extract more, as the water will hit faster because of more built momentum. In my testing, pouring as close to the brew as possible resulted in a balanced cup and also surprisingly flavour intense cup. I think the more balance is because of the laminar flow, non-turbulent current flow, that comes from close pouring is more widespread as opposed to the more local turbulence that comes from pouring from a greater height. The flavour intensity, which shouldn't really be there as there isn't much turbulence, is probably because pouring as close to the brewer as possible forces you to pour faster, as your kettle is more tilted to come closer to the bed. This really means that my testing is flawed, as the results are coming from another variable than height. Now, pouring at a little greater height introduces some turbulence, which is generally good. In my testing, the cups were nicely extracted and flavourful, more so actually than the one poured as close to the brewer as possible. The worst tasting one was definitely the pour from a very high height. One might think this would be the most extracted, and it definitely also looks like it in the bed. But since the stream from the kettle has broken up into droplets at that height, you're actually not getting a lot of extraction deeper in the bed. The agitation you see only happens in the top of the bed and is very shallow. Pouring closer results in deeper agitation, which is better. So the resulting coffee is just very astringent, but without really extracting any nice intense flavours. So please avoid this. Finally, circle versus center. The main difference here is probably a result of drawdown time, as pouring in the center results in faster drawdowns. The center poured and therefore quicker extracted one was great on the brighter notes with lots of crispy clarity, but it tasted quite uneven and not fully extracted. This is because of the center pouring, which is not so great for hitting all of the coffee and therefore extracting all the flavours. So if you want to pour in the center, I would highly recommend you always start with a circle pour to make sure you extract all the coffee. On the other hand, the circle poured and therefore slower drawdown one was sweeter and better on the more mellow notes. So in the end, it's really just about what your preferences are. And that sums up my thoughts on pouring. I urge you to remember that while you can taste a difference, pouring really shouldn't be your main focus. If you're just getting started, coffee, water and grinder are by far the most important things. That was all for today. Thank you for watching.